Or if he is French, yes, you do speak in French, right? Or maybe German, or any other language that we have. But can you actually do the same thing with the computer? Can you actually give instructions to the computer in English? Is that really possible? Okay, so we have different programming languages. Why do we have to create so many languages when we have English, which is a very simple language? Do you know? So for us, English is actually a simple language. But for the computer, it is not so. Why? Because computer can actually understand only binary language. Now again, why? Because of its design. You need to learn actually about how a computer is made and its internal design. Only then you will be able to understand why it actually understands only zeros and ones, which is a binary language. So binary language is all about zeros and ones, nothing else, no other words. Okay, so probably you can explore about it and also check why actually a computer can understand only binary language. Okay, so why can't we actually convert our English language to binary language? Why are we actually going for so many other programming languages? So that is what we have to learn now. So let me discuss about it. So we have our English language. For example, you want to instruct your friend. You want to actually ask something. For example, you want to play with your friend. So you can actually ask this way, that is, shall we play some game today, or shall we go to play a badminton today? Okay, so you can actually ask this sentence in different ways, right? The same sentence can be actually put in different ways. The words might differ. So English language actually has no particular structure, no particular syntax, right? So it has so much of grammar, it has so many words, you can actually frame in a different way. So don't you think if you actually speak in so many ways, the computer gets confused, right? That's the reason we have different programming languages created, and they have particular syntax and structure so that everybody learns that computer language, and then everybody gives instructions in the same way so that computer can actually understand what you actually wanted to do. So what is the syntax? I was actually using this word syntax, right? So syntax is the way you actually write something, or you give instruction to the computer. So there's like set of rules that you need to learn. Okay, so probably you will be learning it later in the course. So now let us see what are different programming languages we have, and also why are we actually learning coding. So we are learning our language. For example, everybody knows English now, right? Why? Because to communicate with people around us or around the world, right? Now why are we learning programming language? So that's very important. So using programming or coding, we can actually make web applications, games, or mobile apps, everything actually. Whatever you see in your computer and whatever you see in your mobile is all because of coding. So for example, if you want to switch off your mobile and switch on your mobile, there's a button and you click, and how can your mobile understand that it has to switch on and off? And then when you actually click on any app, it opens up, and when you click on a picture, it opens, and you just zoom and it just zooms out. So many things are happening on your computer and mobile, right? So how is that possible? It's all because of coding. So don't you think coding is very, very important? Yes. Okay, so now let's talk about different programming languages that we have. These are just few, but do you know that we have hundreds of programming languages? Yes, do explore. You will really get amazed to see so many number of programming languages that we have. So few of them, like few very, very important programming languages that we use in our daily application development or web development or game development are these: JavaScript, C, C++, Java, Python, the many more. These are just few. So you'll be learning about these in our course. If you really want to learn, yes, we are waiting for you. So now let's stop talking about programming languages, because it's really a very vast topic. So every programming language is different. Every programming language has its own syntax, that is its structure. So you will have to learn that. Only then you will be able to develop anything that you want. Okay, so now coming to our main topic of today, that is game development. So I want to develop a very simple game today. Why not complex? Because you all need to know all the commands, right, to actually make a complex game. So today I just want to give an idea like how to develop a game, and then you can explore more about it. You can learn more coding later, and you can actually make little more challenging games than this. Okay, so what is that? So before actually developing a game or something, you will not right away start developing it. Okay, so it's not is it possible? Yes, it is possible, but you know, it will not be very clear. Sometimes you might get some doubts in between, or maybe the user will not understand what you actually wanted to convey. You know, there might be problems. So you know, any work, not only coding, right? So if you actually want to perform any work, any normal general work in your daily life, what do? You plan first, and then you start doing it, right? Same thing here. So when you want to develop any game, the first thing that you need to do is get an idea. Like, what is that you want to develop? It can be a story, or it can be anything that you see in your day-to-day life, right? So just get ideas, just brainstorm everything, and then finally get some story out of it. Okay, a very neat story that you can actually implement it. Okay, so you can get a nice beautiful story, and then you actually need to decide where you want to implement it, right? So we have so many platforms online. You must have heard about Scratch, you must have heard about code.org, Thunkable, and many more softwares where you can actually develop games, right? So today I am actually going to use Sprite Lab because that's very easy for the beginner. You'll be able to understand as soon as you see the blocks. Not very complicated at all, and then it's very colorful, interesting for everybody. And then the next thing, after choosing the platform, the next step is algorithm. Now what is this algorithm? So putting your idea or story in step-by-step format is algorithm. Not only your story, anything that you take. For example, you want to actually do some task, or maybe you want to draw something. So what is that you do? You will not just sit right away and start drawing, right? You have a step-by-step process. You get your sheet, and then you get your canvas, or you get your pencils, eraser, sketches, color pencils, or watercolors, whatever you need, and then you properly arrange everything and start drawing. Again, while drawing also you have some steps: outline, and then you go for the next step, and then color everything, right? So this is nothing but the algorithm, okay, which is very important. Why? Because if you don't have your step-by-step procedure, the user will not understand what you're trying to convey, which is very important for a story-based game. It should be very, very clear. Your idea has to be conveyed very clearly to the user. Only then he'll be able to understand what is happening on the screen, right? And next, after that, it is coding. Now this is the main step. So what is this coding? As I told you, giving instructions to the computer, all right? So I told you you have to learn like Python or JavaScript, Java. There's so many things, right? Then how are we going to code today? We don't know anything, right? We haven't learned Python, we haven't learned JavaScript or Java and C or C++, any other languages. So is it possible? Yes. So this Sprite Lab is very user friendly, very kid friendly. So as soon as you see the blocks, you'll be able to understand what block it is. And I'll also be giving some introduction about it, right? So you can explore and create something for yourself. Um, so this is called as Blockly language because it's all about blocks, just like Scratch. So you just have to take the blocks and attach them so that it starts working. Okay, so now coding is where we have to give instructions as per our idea. Okay, like how, like for example, I want some boy to appear or girl to appear, and then I want that girl to speak something. That's the next step, and then next and next. So that's how you will actually build the blocks and create the game. And finally, after creating the game, you will have to test it, right? Why do we have to test it? It's very, very important to test any application or any game to know that it's working without errors. It's actually working as expected, right? If there are some errors, or maybe if it is not working as expected, probably you can actually start uh, uh, debugging, or maybe you can say I can say correct it. You can change some blocks and then run it again and then see whether it's working. So rerun again and then just see if it's working. You can modify any number of times until you're satisfied with your story or with your game, right? So test it, test it, test it until and unless it's working properly, and then you are ready, your game is ready. Okay, so these are the steps that you need to follow, right? So now let's get started. I'm going to show you like how to actually make the game, how to take the blocks. But before that, I have to tell you the story, right? Because I have a story today for my game. You can also create some story for yourself later. So it's a very simple story that I'm going to take. So there's one little girl in a city, and she wants to go on a vacation after her exams. So so she asks her mother that, shall we go on a vacation after my exams? Yes. So mother actually promises her to take for underwater swimming, because that girl loves underwater swimming, and she wants to see all the beautiful fish creatures that are under the sea. Okay, so and then what I thought, probably we can put some very small challenge there. She can actually swim in the water and can collect some fish and then come back home, right? I know this is very, very simple, but yes, you can actually make a very big story also. But you know, whatever the time we have, this story, I thought this is possible, this is easy for me to show you. But if you understand the concept, you can actually put more challenges in the story. You can make different levels in the story, but you need to learn coding for that. Okay, so let me show you how to actually create it. So as I told you, I'm going to use Sprite Lab. So first you need to go for 𝙏𝙚𝙖𝙘. You can actually search for 𝙏𝙚𝙖𝙘. That's a website. Then once you open that 𝙏𝙚𝙖𝙘, you will have sign up option. You will have to sign up using your Gmail, or maybe you just have to follow the instructions that are given there. And then once you sign up, you can log in and then you're ready. So this 𝙏𝙚𝙖𝙘 has so many platforms like labs. I mean, you can create apps in this, you can create games, and then art, dance, but there's so many, you can actually explore it and then learn. So I'm going to actually take this Sprite Lab for today. Okay, so Sprite Lab, it's actually very colorful, very simple. You have so many options in this, like backgrounds, you have so many sprites to take. So you can like if you have some story, it's very easy to recreate that story using coding. So that's the reason I have taken Sprite Lab. So it all depends like what kind of lab you have to choose. Okay, it all depends on your idea. So now let me run and show you the entire game, and then I'll also show you how to take the blocks and attach them, and then I'll explain my entire code so that you will get an idea. So when I click on run, the girl speaks to her mother and then mother replies. That is my first scene. So this is how I create. How many scenes you'll have to divide. So my first scene is this, and the second scene is the school scene where she actually writes the exam, and it is little, I have made that little interactive. I'll show you that. And the third scene is she'll be sailing in the ship, and then she goes for swimming, collect some fish and come back home. So let me run and show you. So mama, I will complete my exams today, so shall we go on a trip during my holidays? Sure dear, let's go for it. Okay, so now the scene has changed and she is asking you to please help me in my exam. So press W to start the exam. So yes, she can also write her exam, so I thought I'll make it little interactive, so that you know, I just wanted to show all the possibilities that are there in the Sprite Lab. So now I'll click on W and then you will get the question. So which is not a quadrilateral? So you have options, right? Triangle, square, parallelogram, trapezium. So here I've given A, B, C, D because it's easy to click the key. So I'm clicking on A, which is the right answer. And does sound travel faster in the air or water? A and B again, right? So air or water. So my answer is water. So I'll click on B, and then it says, hooray, it's time for my vacation. Click on E to exit. Yes, now the background is changed, and press S to go for swimming. Now I'm clicking on S, and then here she is, right? The girl is actually swimming, and you can actually collect different fish. And then you know what happens here? There's one fish that I'm actually not touching. What is that? It's a shark. You know what happens if I touch that? The game is over. So
you lose.
Yes. Did you see that? Okay. So I wanted to put some challenge, putting a shark there in the scene, so that will be a little challenging. But to make it more challenging, you can add more shark or more different creatures where she should just escape and collect all the fish, right? So there are different levels. You can actually create more and more in this. It's just an idea that I wanted to show. So now let us see how to connect the blocks. But before that, I need to explain you about the Sprite Lab, right? It is very simple. You can see on the left side you have a space where you can actually see the animations, and then on the right side there's a workspace. You can put your blocks here. Now what are the blocks? Yes, for that you need to explore. So there's so many blocks. So even if you start exploring, you will understand slowly. You will have to decide like what is your first step, right? So my first step is what I have created, like backgrounds. There's so much you can see, right? So I'll just explain, I'll just show you few blocks like how to attach, and then I'll start explaining my code. So I want to set a background first. Okay, so go to world. So here you have set background, and then you can choose backgrounds from here. Okay, there are many backgrounds given, and they are actually limited, but still you can definitely get a suitable background to your story, so any story. So that's how I actually chosen the background. So you can also search the backgrounds. So you have house, and then you have nature backgrounds, kitchen. So it all depends on stories actually. Okay, so that's how I have chosen my background. That is the study room. So we have that study room here, so I have chosen that. Okay, and then after choosing the background, the first thing is I have to create the sprites, right? So go to sprites, and then here we have make new sprite, and then again you can actually place the sprite wherever you want, and you have different costumes. You can click on costumes, and then new costume, and you have so many categories here, right? So here my story is about little girl, right? So you can go to people, you can take any little girl here, not necessarily the same that I have taken. So there's so many things, whatever you like, you can just click on that. So you can see this green color tick, that means it has been added, and then click on done. So now go to code. Here you can see on the left top, and then choose the girl. So like once you select the girl, it will not appear here, only when you click here and then choose the girl. Okay, so again you can set the position by clicking on this anywhere on the screen, and then the girl is actually very small, right? So you can also set the size of the girl. So go to sprites, and then we have set size. Yes, and then you need to choose the girl's picture, and you can actually try different values to set the size of the girl to your required size. Now the girl is ready. I'll just take some bright background. Yeah, okay. And then for example, like I want a mother now, right? So now again what you can do, you can actually get one more block here, go to sprites, and then make new sprites, right? Yes, one more way is you can just click on this block, Control C to copy and Control V to paste. This is also possible. So put it here, and then again go to costumes, click on new costume, then we have people here, and then search for an appropriate sprite or picture. Okay, we'll take this and then click on done, then go to code. So is it done? No, right? So we have to click here and then choose the picture. Yes. So first we have to set the position, then size. So either you can get it from here, that is set the size, or copy and paste it. Control C and Control V, Control plus C and Control plus V, then you get this block. So it's just the easy way of coding, so it'll save your time. Then choose the sprite, also set the position. Mother is actually very small, so probably we can make it a little bigger. Yes, right? So my scene is set, background, characters, right? So this is the first step for any story, right? So then the interaction, right? So I'll show you my code now. So this is what I've done, right? So setting the size, taking the sprites, etc. Now there is something called say. So if you go to text, you can see here there's something called say. So characters, we can actually make the characters speak. I mean, the text will appear just like a dialogue. So I thought I'll use that, but then there was a problem. So I have to explain you about this when run. So what is that when run? When run means when I click on this run button, all these blocks should get executed. Okay, that means they should run. Like when I click on run, everything starts working. Okay, so that is when run. So actually all the code, whatever code that you are actually doing, you will have to attach everything to when run. But there's a problem. For example, if I attach the say to when run, what happens? So I'll just take this say and then choose the little girl, and then I'll just say hello to just test to show you. So if you see here, as soon as I click on run, she just says hello, right? There's no delay. The story is very quick, right? We want like the scene to be very slow, like one by one, right? Not only that, there's one more problem again. I have taken one more say block, and this time I wanted to give dialogue to the mother. So for example, if it's like this, then when I click on run, both will speak together, right? So it is not actually serving our purpose, right? That's the reason I have actually used one more block called add seconds. You can see that, right? So we have events here. Event means like what time or when you click on something it starts working. So that's the event. So here I have taken this add seconds, which means after clicking on run, after 1 second, the girl will speak. After few more seconds, we can actually make the mother speak, right? So that's the next step. So that's the reason I've taken this at 1 seconds. The girl say the dialogue. You can write whatever dialogue you want there. For how many seconds? 5 seconds. Why 5 seconds? There's no rule. So you just have to put that, run the code, understand and see whether it's proper or not. If it is not, then you'll just have to change the time again. Recheck. Okay, that's how there's no rule here. You just have to take the blocks, put it and test it. If it's okay, then go for the next step. That's how you can actually code. Okay, and then at 6 seconds, I have given the dialogue to the mother. That is, sure, let's go for underwater swimming. Okay, and then after some time, like after 9 seconds, I thought I have actually used little different numbers here, like 8, 7. It didn't work. It was very quick. Actually, even 9 seconds also, it's little quick only. You can actually change that. So at 9 seconds, I'm setting the background to a library. I was actually searching for school and college backgrounds. It was not there, so probably this library is a little suitable. So I have taken that. So I have changed that library background, and then what? Very important. So in the school, the mother sprite shouldn't be there, right? Only girl should be there, right? So that's the reason I have actually removed the sprite mother. So there is, if you go to sprites, and then you actually have to explore many other blocks. There are many other blocks. You just have to explore one by one. You will get it. So I have removed the sprite mother, and then girl says something. That's the same block again, right? So I have actually taken join block, which means you can actually put multiple sentences instead of a long sentence. Okay, so we have a join block here in the text. You can take that and put multiple sentences. So girl says something, that is, could you please help me in my exam, and then press W to start the exam. why did I actually write this press W to start the exam? Because the user has to click on something so that it goes to the next scene, right? So that event is important. Okay, so this is important for a game. Event, that is interaction. The user can click on something and the next it goes to the next scene. Otherwise it doesn't move, right? Can't move to the next scene. So that's why I actually kept this press W to start the exam, and then go to events, and we have something called when pressed, or so you can use that block, and we have so many options here, all the keys, up, down, left, right arrows, space, and all the ABCDs. So you can use any alphabet. Okay, so I have used W, and then I wanted some question to appear. So again the girl says the question. You can write the question like this, and then you have so many options here, right? So I know, see, you can actually put any question here. It's a choice again. So I thought, okay, user might click on A, that is triangle, and if it is A, then what? Right? So I have actually kept that event when A pressed, it has to go to the second question. Okay, so that block is there, and when A is pressed, it will ask the next question. Now you might be getting the doubt, what if I don't press A and then press B, right? So for that you actually need to know something called condition, like conditional statement. That means if it is right answer, show this. If this is the wrong answer, show something else. So you need to know about conditional statements, how to use them. So that is little more advanced. You will have to learn that. Okay, so probably once you learn that in programming, okay, you can learn everything in that in our course, like conditional statements and much more, variables, everything. Then you will be able to actually put those things and work. And then coming to the next, that is it says press E to exit, right? So when E is pressed, I have changed the background to ship. There are other ship pictures also, you can use whatever you want. And then I've removed the girl. That means the girl is, like, it is just an assumption that girl is in the ship. And then but then how to go to the next scene, right? So I'm in the I'm in the school, I've written the exam, and then exit, and in the C. Now to go to the next scene, the user has to click on something. There's no girl, and there's no other options here. So if you explore, what I did is I've just used one small cloud. You'll not be able to see that. So there's a small cloud, and then I have given the dialog to that cloud. So that is press S to go for swimming. Okay, and then I click on S. Okay, so this is the coding, like the blocks. So for switching from scene 1, 2 to 3. Okay, so I'll run and show you. Probably you'll understand now. So the girl says, and then the mother says, right? So this is scene 1. Scene 2, press W. That's the first question. I'll click on A. See, now second question comes, and then I'll click on B. It's time for vacation. Click on E to exit. E. See, now there's no girl here, right? So anyway, clouds are there, so I thought I'll create a very small cloud so that it just displays that dialog, and then we can actually press E. S for swimming. So S. Okay, so clear till here, I think. Okay, now let's go for the next part, which is the game. So there I thought, okay, probably we can put a very small interactive game where user can actually enjoy swimming in the water, and then collect some fish, and then go home, right? Very small task, but it is very interesting. So when S is pressed, I had set the background to water, underwater, and then I had make a new sprite Why? Because underwater we cannot put that girl, right? So it should be like she should have some swimming dress. I thought so. But I so there's a challenge here. If you search for costumes, you'll not get the underwater swimming picture. Yes, this might happen. You can have your own story where probably that sprite is not available. Then, then what to do? So one way is drawing. If you're very good at drawing, just see, this is the area where you can actually draw whatever you want and make a sprite. You can color it just like your paint application, and then you can use that sprite, right? It's very interesting. And second thing, more interesting actually, you can actually download a picture from Google and then use those sprites. Okay, so how is that possible? Okay, that's no, it's again a different method. It takes more time to explain, but I can guide you. Like, these are the steps. You need to go to Google, search for some nice images that you want, and then download it to your system, and then you can click on new costume here, and yeah, you have options, draw your own or upload image, right? So when you click on upload image, you can actually upload the image from your system. Okay, that's possible. And not only that, like when you actually get the picture from the Google, you'll have some unnecessary backgrounds. So to remove those backgrounds, again, you need to use some online tools that are available in Google. You need to explore for that also, and then finally get the picture. That's how I got this picture. Okay, so I've used that now here. Then I had set the size. I think now you know how to set the size, right? Now I wanted to create fish, beautiful fish, octopus, starfish, right? That's your choice again. So I thought I'll just create few. So you can see here, it's the same thing. Make a new sprite, choose the fish. Now you know how to choose the fish with the sprites, right? And set the positions. So positions actually, it's not easy, because see, you can see here, right? You cannot set the position because the scene is first scene. It's not possible, but you can randomly just click somewhere and it'll set the position there. Okay, that's possible. And then similarly I have given, so the girl and mother is just, they're stable, they're not moving, static, right? It's fine. But what about fish? We have to give some behavior to the fish, right? It's very important again. So this is one of the very interesting features, like that we have in Sprite Lab, behaviors. Few behaviors are already given, and if you want, you can actually create a behavior also. Okay, so for that you need to learn like how to create a behavior and all. Yeah, you have to explore again, you have to learn for that. So you have some behaviors here already. You can explore, like you can see that just looking at the name itself, you'll be able to understand few, like moving east, moving north, right? So I have used these behaviors. I have given one behavior to this octopus, that is moving east and looping. So it will just move to the east. Looping means it will just continue to move to the this side, east. Okay, and then make a new sprite, starfish, again set the size, and then move west and looping this time. Okay, and then you can see here, make new fish, set the size again, and then give some behavior. And again, so no, it's just not easy. So you have to actually spend a lot of time on this to set the size and all. Why? Because once you set the size, you have to run your code, then see whether the size is right or not. If not, you have to change it again, run it. So you're going to run this code multiple times to just check whether it is right or wrong. Okay, so similarly, create how many ever sprites you want. Okay, and then finally I have created one shark. You can create 2 or 3. Okay, and then set the size of it little bigger than the other fish, and then I have given the behavior as wandering. Okay, so here the behaviors are also important. The shark fish should have a behavior where it has to wander everywhere on the screen so that it looks like as if it is chasing you, right? If you just loop it east or west, it's easy for you to play the game, right? No, it's had to just go around. So that's the reason I have given that wandering. Okay, so that is the picture, like scene, background, and the characters. Now our character is also important. Yes, I have created my character, it's done. Then now I have to move my character. That is the important part here, right? If I can't move my character, how will I be able to collect the fish? Isn't it? So yes, I am going to move my character using my arrow keys. Is it a rule? No. You can use A, W, S, D, like how you always use in all the other games, right? Yes, that is also okay. But no, many of them are very comfortable with arrow keys, so I have used those up, down, left, and right arrow keys. Okay, so go to events again. Why events? Because event is like when you click on something, what should happen. So that's the event. So when I click on up arrow or down arrow, so this is the event I'm using. So you can see here, I'll explain one, the rest are same. So while right pressed, I will move my character. Very important again, if you choose a different character, then your character it will not move, it will not be able to move. So you have to choose the right character. Okay, and then 10 pixels. So like for example, how we have like 10 centimeters, 10 meters, right, here in our real life. In the virtual, like in system, we usually use it in pixels. We give in pixels. So you can try different pixels here, like 5 pixel will be little slower, 10 is little faster, 20 will be more faster. Okay, so right is actually east, and up is north, down is south, and left is west. So you need to know that, and that's how I actually used all these events. You can see that. And then this block is important. Why? Okay, if I don't put this block while right pressed, that means when I click on right button, the girl moves to the east and she actually goes into the screen. You'll not be able to see her anymore. She just goes into the screen. So we have to actually stop her at the edges, right? On the top, down, right, and left. So this is that block. Edges block from moving. So you can get all the important blocks like moving blocks, everything here in the sprites. You can scroll down and get them. Okay, so edges block from moving, I kept it everywhere so that the girl stops at the edges. And now the next challenge. So this is done. So what is done? Background is given, characters are created, I have given behaviors to the characters. Yes, there is a behavior to my character also, that is moving when you click on arrows. Now the challenging. I have to collect the fish. That means if I touch the fish, they should at least disappear, right? Then only you will feel that, okay, you have collected them. So that is the reason again we have to take the event, which is when the girl touches. So if you go to events, you can see that. Okay, you have this when sprite touches the other sprite. So I have taken that when girl touches the fish. What happens? You have to again choose the right fish. What happens if you don't choose the right fish? Even if the girl go and touches, nothing happens. They won't disappear. Okay, so test it, run. After every block, run. Then it will be very easy. So if you don't run in between, and if you put like 20 blocks and then run and then something doesn't work, then you have to just modify so many blocks, right? Instead of that, it's better you run after every like 2 to 3 blocks, and that'll be easy for you to code without any errors. So, and then I want to remove the fish as if I've collected it. Similarly, the other block, when the girl touches the starfish, remove that sprite fish. So I have done that for all the fish. And what is this play sound? So don't you think without any sounds, without any background changes, everything is very boring, right? So we have sound option also here in the world. You can see there's so many sounds available. So I have taken some bubble pop sound so that when you click on it, it just gives that bubble sound whenever I collect that fish. So I've used that sound block to every event. And one more important thing is like these blocks need not touch each other. Okay, so event is independent. So like when I touch this fish, it has to make a sound and remove that sprite. That's it, nothing else, right? So this is a separate event and this is a separate event. So all these are different events. So you need not actually worry that, oh, they are not actually touching each other. Okay, next. So yeah, and then all fish like fish are same. Like if you just touch them, you'll just get a sound, and then they'll just remove. But it's not the same with shark, right? When you touch the shark, now you should disappear because game over, right? So that's the reason when girl touches the shark, okay, let me just choose this. Okay, when the girl touches the shark, you can actually play a different sound. You know, you have loose sound, a winning sound, so many sounds. You can just explore the sounds. So when you actually touch the shark, it will give a sound, and then game over, try again. It'll just display that game over, try again. Okay, and you can start the game again. Okay, so that is the game part, right? That's so now I'll show you the game. Yes, when I run, it'll start from the beginning, and then the second scene, and then let's go for swimming, and then see, I'm able to move the girl now.
You lose.
Yes, right? You see that? Now I thought, okay, if I touch the shark, I'm losing, but what if I collect all the fish? I have to win, right? So that's the reason I thought, okay, I'll create one more event. That is when I like click on D or anything, like you can actually choose any letter. So I've chosen D. So that means when I click on D, the girl actually goes back home, so like safe, like she reached the home safely, and then she actually says something like, yes, I enjoyed my holiday. Now she collected the fish, right? So she'll say that I have to get an aquarium for my beautiful fish. So I thought, okay, I'll just display that. And then you have to remove all these sprites that are created. If you forget, then what happens? Even after girl reaching home, you will still see this shark and everything. Okay, so make sure you remove the sprites appropriately according to the scene. So here you can see I had set the background to a living room, and then again I've created the girl back without the swimming dress. You can see that here. And then set the size and some dialogue, and then remove the sprites, and finally some nice winning sound, right? So I'll show you that finally. Yes, and then okay, so I've collected, and then I click on D, and see here I'm back home, right? And there's a dialogue here, right? That's how I wanted to finish my game or my story, because it's just not the end, right? Only it's not like only game over. there should be some happy ending also, so I just did this. So it's a very simple story, and I think you saw so many blocks for such a simple story. So imagine if you want to create more complex games, how much code you will have to actually put, isn't it? So, did you actually enjoy the game? Yeah, did you actually understand the story and how to actually convert that story to a game? You can actually include many more challenges in that game. So just that you need to understand what code blocks you have to use, right? That's it. And then you can create your own story. So start working on some story, some exciting story. Just go for it, and then start working on very small stories. Later you'll be able to actually go for a very bigger stories also. Okay, now if you have some questions, yes, you can actually put that in the comment section. So I'll be happy to answer. So just please go ahead.